Hey everyone. Um, let's continue with the theme of uh, planning, but we're going to talk about side projects today. Now, these aren't your necessarily your money making projects, right? These are things that you do to keep in practice, to give yourself a different view of the world again, so that you're not fixed to whatever you're doing. So, let's say you're doing wedding photography all the time. Do you get a chance to go out and take pictures of flowers, landscapes, blue skies, lakes, pets? Do you get a chance to do those other things? Do you get a chance to see the world outside of that blinder that you have to put on about concentrating on just the wedding and getting the people and getting the reception and getting the bride and groom together and getting the wedding party together and dealing with those blinders on, because this is what you have to concentrate on? Do you get a chance to go out and do other things? Right now, to me, it's important that you go and do those other things. Now, I know that your kit may or may not be comparable for doing those other things. And again, none of this stuff is sponsored at all, but I've had very good luck with lens rentals. Now, they do more than just lenses. They've got cameras, they've got drones, they have the stabilization stands that you can walk around something with. It'll keep the camera stable. They have videoing equipment. So think of what projects you would like to explore this year and plan them out. And the reason I'm telling you to plan them out and to put them on the calendar is so you do them. It's one thing to say, I'd really like to take landscapes this year. I think I'll do some, I want to get the cherry blossoms when they come out. Well, plan it. Stick it on the calendar. Don't do anything the day that you're going to do those cherry blossoms. Do that cherry blossom shoot. I like to do fall foliage, which is tremendously hit or miss, right? Depends on how the summer went, how the weather's been all year, and then trying to guess when it's supposed to start. So I block out a time that I think it's going to occur. And I've needed to get lenses in the past. So I will book the lenses probably about June. I will put in my request for my lenses around October. That way my request is in. I don't have to think about it, right? The lens is going to show up. So I know I'm going to be doing the shoot. I usually try to get them for, if I can, a week. Of course, depending upon the expense of the lens, a week may or may not be something you can do. You may need to do something a lot shorter than that. But plan it out. Get your stuff in there. Try, if you can, to give yourself at least a day before and a day after. And that's so that you can just do the photography. Not worry about the unpacking of the lenses, not worrying about if the lens shows up a day late, which they typically don't. They typically show up early, if anything. And it'll also allow you to take the extra day to look at your photographs and see if there's anything you want to reshoot, but to just not worry about packing the lens up and sending it back. Now, it's incredibly easy to pack up rental equipment because they come in a solid case, right? That's foam packed and everything else. You're just going to put it back in the case. You're going to put the case back in a regular box. There's usually no packing in the box itself, and off it goes. So it's very simple to do, and your tape and everything come with it. So your label, everything is there for you to just take it down to your typically FedEx store and drop it off. But having that extra day also means that if something bogs down, if you've just got a drop point as opposed to an actual FedEx location, which is what I have, and it doesn't get picked up that day, you're not penalized because you've got that extra day that you booked into things. You don't have to scramble around to get it out the door. So if you can afford it, do that. But my point is, try something new, try something different. Maybe you want to try a different camera for that matter. Whatever you can afford to do comfortably, plan it out. Get it set up on your calendar for the year to go out and do it, because then you're going to see things differently, right? I've done a lot of different types of photography. One was very interesting. I took I bought one of those balls. Now, if you haven't seen them, it's a glass ball, and the object is to shoot through the ball. So you're getting the ball's view, if you will, of the world around it, which is like looking through a wide-angle lens, but it's more wraparound than that. And it's distorted, but I used a bunch of Christmas lights, put them in a pile, so the lights were showing and not the wires, and shot it through the ball, and got this weird wraparound color thing from it. Take down your focus so that it's not sharp, and now you get a blurring of colors. You get the swirl that you get from the ball. So photography is playing with light, and the more things that we can do to look at the world differently, to look at how we can capture that light differently, gives us more in our repertoire when we're doing our other stuff, right? So what if, for example, you were doing a wedding and you have one of these balls, which typically they've got like a suction cup thing with a screw-on mount, so that you could even put it on a tripod if you wanted to, and you shot the wedding cake through it, or you shot the bridal bouquet through it and gave it a completely different look. But you won't know what you can get or what it's capable of unless you've actually used it. And you won't be able to do it for work unless you've actually used it, right? Because if you're going to want to use things that you are comfortable with, things you're familiar with, things you can set up quickly, do what you need to do, and put it away. And something like a ball or a wide-angle lens, something odd that you don't typically use, could give you a completely different view on a wedding, for example. You've got the entire bridal party in front of you, and instead of shooting them directly, you shoot the reflection through the ball, which gives it this curved feel to it. What would that look like? Use a wide-angle lens, which is so wide-angle, it's got that fisheye effect to it. What would that do for a wedding photograph? You're not looking at something to replace the traditional photographs, because people want those. But what kind of odd little thing could you create, even if it's just for yourself, out of that wedding? And by looking at these different tools that you can use and all these different things that you could shoot, like pets, like landscapes, like just clouds in the sky, clouds in the sky over a lake, so that you get both the clouds in the sky and the reflection of the lake, and maybe the horizon is the two of them wrapped together so they kind of merge at the end. Look at all the different things that you could find that you could shoot. Think about people taking pictures of flowers, all right? Some people take pictures of just large bunches of flowers, garden shots. Some people get down to the actual flower itself, more clinical almost in photography. Some will shoot that flower, and what I like to do is blur all the other flowers around it so that one flower is the star of the show. What would you do? How would you look at things differently? And then what would you do with what you learned from there? How would you apply that in other places, right? What could you do differently in your photography? But you're never going to know, and you're never going to have the experience if you don't get out there and try it. So put things on your schedule this year. Get some new projects that you just, odd things that you want to try. Maybe you just want to do architecture of houses, or bits of architecture in houses, or gargoyles or headstones, or whatever it is that you want to shoot. Get out there and do some photographs for you. May not make any money on them, but you'll gather more experience, and you'll have a new set of tools and a new way of looking at the world that you can add to your tool belt of things that you do. And that's what I got for you guys this week. I'll talk to you all next week.